Alright guys, this is a Longplay review for Chase HQ, the arcade coin-op from Taito in 1988. And here's the arcade flyers. This one was the basis for the box art on the home conversions actually. Here's the sit-down cabinet in all its glory. What a fantastic looking thing it is. There's also another sit-down cab. This rather childish looking one, which doesn't look as cool to me, but it is pneumatic and does move about and is very, very rare apparently. But anyway, let's get this started off. Now, if you're not familiar with my videos on my channel, what I normally do and always do pretty much is long plays with reviews. But if you don't want to hear me talking over the top of this, I'll put a link in the description below for you to watch the long play without my commentary or review. It will be an unlisted video. So, and that will have the full track sequence. We're only going to watch a little bit of it before we start the game off. And the game involves you driving around in a rather sexy looking Porsche 928, one of my favourite cars of all time, and a dream car for me to own actually. I think you can pick them up pretty cheaply these days, they're about £5 grand or something. But yes, you've got 60 seconds to catch up with a criminal. And you've got a further 60 seconds to ram them off the road. And you get 3 turbos. And the game sort of also at points splits in 2 different directions. Choose the wrong direction and you'll have the criminal gets further away. I'm sure you know all this already. Most people know what Chase HQ is. Yeah, so we get our instructions from Nancy at Chase headquarters. This time we're after Ralph, the Idaho slasher, in what looks like a white Lotus Turbo Sprite. I know, one of my favourite cars of all time. This game is full of them. And yeah, it looks gorgeous. It's fast and it's smooth. And the sprite scaling is absolutely amazing for the time. This was pretty much Taito's answer to Sega's Outrun. They attempted Outrun was released in 1986, and a year later they attempted it with a game called Full Throttle, or Top Speed, and which wasn't particularly brilliant. And Chase HQ is essentially sort of a follow-up or sequel to Full Throttle, unofficially maybe. And yeah, it's actually technically and visually a lot better than Outrun. I actually prefer this to Outrun, even though I love Outrun to bits. So yeah, we've just caught up with our first criminal. And now bizarrely we've got to smash into them. And our Porsche 928. It takes about 15 to 17 hits to knock them off. Now I'm going to sort of show off a little bit here. I'm not going to use a turbo at all. Just to show you that you can get through stages without using, well, it's certainly the earlier stages, without using all your turbos, or even one of them. So yeah, I'm showing off a bit. Now why you'd want to use a Porsche 928 to smash a car off the road, I don't know. I think the Porsche 928 would have fallen to bits along with the poor old Lotus we're smashing here. It would make sense to have like some kind of reinforced Jeep or something, I don't know.
Okay. You're under arrest on suspicion.
But I'm not going to question game logic. So yeah, we've caught our first criminal there. To be honest, if you want to rack up more scores, higher scores, you want to ram them off the road as quickly as possible, so perhaps you want to use those turbos as quickly as you can. So we're after Carlos, the New York armed robber, and a yellow Lamborghini Countach, I believe. Now I guess I'll talk about a little bit how I'm playing this to beat the game. You probably noticed that I don't, well, hardly ever use the brake. I haven't used it once yet. What I'm using is sort of slow myself down when needed, like going into corners or bends or whatever, is using the high-low gear. Now it's a lot easier on MAME. I don't know how this would work in a real arcade cabinet, but it's going. The game assumes you're always in high gear, unless you push low gear. So you have to start off by holding both the accelerator and the gear button, and that starts you up in low gear. Release the gear button, and you go into high gear. And what I use instead of the brake is just to sort of touch or dab the gear key, the gear button, to sort of bring us down a little bit in speed, but not as harshly as the brake does. I think I only use the brake in emergencies. And that's my top tip, really, for this game. And perhaps when you use your first turbo as you're catching up to the criminal, because you, in pretty much all cases, apart from maybe stage 5, you'll have pretty much a sort of usually a fairly clear straight road without too many difficult turns or bends, and you want to smash into him and gain as much damage as you can to start off with, to give you a bit of leeway. You can usually get about 3 or 4 hits in. Yeah, and there we go. That's Carlos, captured.
Okay. You're under arrest on suspicion of armed robbery and murder.
Now this was, of course, a hugely successful and popular coin-op. And it also spawned quite a few sequels and spin-offs, actually. Probably the most notable is the first proper sequel. It was SCI, Special Criminal Investigations, which had a change of car actually. It changed to the Nissan ZX 300, one of my favourite cars of all time. But this time he had a gun and he could shoot your opponents. And also, rather interestingly, in about 2007, Taito actually released a brand new Chase HQ arcade machine as late as 2007. They're called Chase HQ 2. I've never actually played it or seen it in an arcade or cinema, bowling alley, wherever in the UK. Probably only got released in a few places in Japan, who knows, or America. I'd love to see him play that and see what it's like. Of course, the home conversions were pretty much nearly all brilliant. Special mention to the Spectrum and Amstrad CPC ports of Chase HQ. They were absolutely fucking brilliant from Ocean Software. Definitely the two to check out. You can find a long play and review of Chase HQ and the Amstrad on my channel, of course, as well. Oh yes, this is who are we after? The Chicago Pushers. I think this must be a Porsche 911 we're actually smashing into here. Yeah, around about 15 seconds, Nancy starts speaking to you, telling you you're about to run out of time. You might want to save the last turbo to the last sort of 8-5 seconds or something like that. Yeah, this is where things start getting really tough. There's only 5 stages, and this is the 4th stage. We're after the LA Kidnapper in a Ferrari 288 GTO, I believe. Just one thing I want to mention very quickly, the hardware behind the coin-op. I've seen it reported a couple of places that that Taito actually licensed and used the Outrun hardware for this. I think it was that System 16, I believe, or something. Well, I don't think that's quite true. Taito had their own hardware. I think this was based on the Z system, the Taito Z system. I think it was slightly more powerful. Obviously Sega and Outrun was fantastic for sprite scaling, as is this, and they used it on quite a few games. Even the sequel, which followed a couple of years later. Yeah, do make sure you choose the correct route. Obviously there'll be an arrow, sometimes a helicopter will appear and will tell you. Choose the wrong route, and the distance between you and your enemy increases, and sort of yeah, you've pretty much got no chance unless you use all your turbos. So it's not worth trying to go the opposite way. But yeah, and things start getting really tough on stage 4. I can often find myself using a continue here, but I've done this long play without using a single continue, which I'm pretty proud of. It's quite difficult. Short game. I mean, you could complete it in about 15 minutes, less than that maybe. Ah, there we go. That's Ferrari on fire there. Although in the cutscene, the car seemed to be undamaged. Oh well. But yeah, this is one of my favourite arcade games of all time, and I'll be looking at in my upcoming videos a load of my favourite coin ops. I did Green Beret, it was my last video. Contra wasn't too long ago either. Chase HQ now, of course, and a few of us probably up to Christmas, with a probably a special video covering all of them all at once. We're on the final stage here, after the Eastern Bloc spy in a mystery car. Well, I'm going to ruin the surprise. It's exactly the same as yours. It's a Porsche 928, but in red, and I'm really using the gear button in MAME here to get me around these bends. There's some really nasty bends on here, and watch out when you do actually catch up to him. Usually, most cases, you'll catch up to him just before a massive left-hand bend. So don't waste a turbo. Be ready to take it very easy and get around there. Perhaps even using the brake. I think I actually, in this recording, I think I do actually use the brake for the very first time in the game. We want to try and get a few hits in first. Yeah, I used the brake there and then turboed out. If we get about sort of 4 or 5 hits on him with a sort of in about roughly 10 seconds, we're on target. But it's always very close in the stage, always very close. Do love the sample speech on this. The only thing that's disappointing to me in this game is actually the music in game, apart from maybe the first stage. It's pretty forgettable. Not very good, especially compared to like Outrun's music. That was close. That was very close.
Okay. You're under arrest on suspicion of espionage and first-degree murder.
Split second before the game would send me to game over or continue screen.
This is Case Special Investigation Chief Amos. I want to congratulate you on a great job. I hereby record your heroism and will remember it for a long time to come. For completing 5 missions without a flaw. Bless you. Perfect chase.
Looks like Ronald Reagan's presenting us with the reward there. But no, it's the Chief. And here come the credits. So there we go. Love this game's bits. Can't fault it really. It's one of the most fun driving games of all time. It's probably my favourite driving game of all time as well. Any faults really for me is kind of the music's pretty poor and doesn't really fit. It's too jolly and it's too twee and it's too nondescript. But then again, if it was like really in your face and stuff, it'd probably be really distracting because the game goes so fast. You don't really want any more distractions. But otherwise, reviewing arcade machines, what score do I give it? 9.5 out of 10 as a review score from me. Goes to a game over, doesn't allow you to carry on, I think. But high score table. Some dodgy music and sample speech, but sample speech is awesome in this, I have to say. And like I said, guys, if you want to enjoy this long play without my commentary and review, there'll be a link in the description below, just purely for the long play. And that's me entering my high score there. It's a very good score actually. I think that's close to the world record for Chase HQ played on MAME emulator. Maybe I might attempt that one day, who knows. But thanks for watching, guys. That's it. That's me done here. 9.5 out of 10. See you soon. Cheers. Bye.